The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from Dallas Cowboys Training Camp in Oxnard, California.
CeeDee Lamb, touchdown.
Parsons has sacked it. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
And now your hosts, Isaiah Stanback, Patrik Walker, Josh Rodriguez, and Kyle Yeomans.
Finally, the Dallas Cowboys have come back to Oxnard, California. We are here at training camp. Let's welcome the Dallas Cowboys, the staff, the players, the coaches, and new Talkin Cowboys lineup presented by Black Rifle Coffee. I am here with Patrik, Nosi, Walker. Say hi to the people, Patrik. Returning to Talkin Cowboys.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am glad to be back talking Cowboys. I'm back to where it all started. Shouts out to Derek Eagleton, Ambar Garcia, and Brian Broaddus. I had a blast last season on the break, but now that I'm back, we gotta come take y'all down. So there it is.
And we have Cowboys legend and star of Hanging with the Boys, Nathaniel Newton. Welcome to the show. You're not on the main lineup, but you are here. Say hi to the people, Nate.
Hey, what's up, Patrik? I love you, baby. You broke that down real sweet. Hey, I'm Nate. Y'all know who I am, baby. I fill in for a lot of people doing training camp. I enjoy it. This is my 45th year of being in 41st year of being in somebody's training camp. I'm loving it.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations,
Yes.
man. That's amazing.
Brother. You're a blessing.
And shouts to Hanging with the Boys. I know you're on that show. I know it's a good show. What's the host name? I forget his name.
Hey,
Sharon?
Hey,
Shannon.
that's Shannon Gross,
Shannon.
baby.
Shannon, baby.
Shouts to him.
Yeah.
Boys, we're here. Let's talk about there's so much to talk about. Practice hasn't even started yet. We haven't had a press conference yet. So what are we doing? How are you guys feeling? Does it feel good to be back here in Oxnard, California?
How you feeling, big man?
Oh, great. I mean, you see, I'm in a T-shirt, basically, man, a Cowboys T-shirt. Weather is, 60, probably 69, 68.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. I just want to when they had told me, when Chris Bean told me, hey, man, you're going to be on a different show. I was like, is Patrik going to be on there? He said, yeah. I said, put me on that show. And fortunately, I hooked up with you, baby. Josh, I love you. Hey, and tell Josh he wasting food out here in camp, so stop doing that.
Look at me. There's not possible. That's not possible.
There's
no way.
So we're jumping off already. We getting right to
No, we're getting right to it.
Right to it.
Nate Newton accuses me of wasting food. By the looks of me, that is virtually impossible. So I'm calling
these guys. I number one, we're going to have some fun with these guys,
we are.
first and foremost. Second of all, I couldn't be more excited. I mean, like you said, practice.
It's football today.
Yeah, it's football today. Football is
man.
back. Football is back. For all of the pressure that the Cowboys are under right now, ladies and gentlemen, and make no mistake about it, they are under a monumental amount of pressure to get things done, starting effective today when the first practice gets underway. But nonetheless, whether you're worried or not worried, optimistic, pessimistic, the fact is we can all agree that football is back, and there's nothing more exciting than that.
Yeah.
All right, so practice hasn't started, so we still have a lot of the lingering news from before camp started
We do.
kind of facing us right now. CeeDee Lamb, quote-unquote, holdout, possibly. How do we feel about him not being here? Maybe he just missed a flight.
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's driving in like
Yeah.
Nate, you know, like maybe it's taking a little bit. How do we feel about CeeDee Lamb at this point?
Well, first, let's talk transactional really quickly.
Okay.
So this morning, Trevon Diggs was officially placed on the PUP, the physically unable to perform list, as he continues to come back from his torn ACL. But I'm told that it shouldn't be a long stay for him there, so expect him in practice any day now. But he is going to be the one starting there. Great news is that no one else is. So DeMarvion Over's shown, John Stevens Jr., Luke Schoonmaker, Mozzie Smith, as well as David Durden, they're all cleared a full go. They're going to start today, and not a couple hours from now, they'll be on the practice field behind us getting things going. CeeDee Lamb, obviously, that's the headline. He remains in a holdout pattern, hasn't reported just yet. He and the Cowboys are still negotiating his contract. I'm told that he's back in South Texas. He's staying ready. He's still working. And for those that have been wondering, if you've not heard it from Dak when we communicated it to you, if you've not heard it from some of those other guys, CeeDee Lamb has been preparing the whole time, right? So he's ready to hit the ground running whenever that contract situation gets going. But until it does, young guys, Jalen Tolbert, Jalen Brooks,
Yes.
Jalen Cropper, all the Jalens, Jalen. Kavontae Turpin, right? These young guys, Ryan Flournoy, the rookie 6th round pick, he's going to get some reps as well. They need to take advantage of this opportunity.
CeeDee, take your time, do what you have to do. Stay in touch with your agent, continue to work, do your thing. As an ex-player, I understand. I have no comment for that. His work speaks for itself, and he's still young enough to receive the type of money that he's talking about. If he was an older guy, maybe like saying, but he's still a young stud making it happen. And Patrik, you mentioned a lot of young guys that need to step up to the plate and show Dak that he can trust you like he can trust the CeeDee Lamb.
Well, speaking of Dak, I mean, that contract hasn't been sorted out yet. Do we think the contracts for Dak, Micah, CeeDee, are those on pause at the moment? Granted, we just talked about CeeDee.
I feel like the only one of those big three that's on pause right now is Micah. And I feel like that's because Micah has already come out and said he's willing to pause his. And he said this months and months ago when the headline became Dak's contract, CeeDee Lamb's contract, Micah's contract. Micah came out and basically said, listen, it's time to pay CeeDee Lamb. It's time to, make sure Dak gets taken care of. And he said, I'll worry about mine in 2025 when the time comes. So right now, the only two that the Cowboys are juggling is negotiations with Dak and negotiations with CeeDee. So that does make it easier for them knowing that their generational pass rusher is basically saying, take care of those other two guys. We'll talk in 25.
That shows a level of maturity. That shows maturity, leadership as well. A lot of question marks about that. Since the end of the season. Nate, how do we feel about his kind of leadership by making that decision to kind of pause his contract negotiations at this time?
For certain guys, I want them to show it on the field. I don't care what a lot of these players say because a lot of time it doesn't line up with what you're doing on the field. And so I'm not worried about Parsons at this time, and great thing that he's taking that pause and looking out for the other guys. I like that, but what I need for us to get this thing situated with Dak. We have to get this situated because he is the guy that will allow other guys to get paid. I mean, what is his cap hit this year, Patrik?
Oh man, it's about $60 million.
Yeah, so he is either a cap enhancer or a cap stopper. So whatever they need to do, let the fans know, and more importantly, let his teammates know where you stand with Dak, because they're going to follow the ownership's lead. If Dak is the guy, we pay him, we take care of him, we stretch this thing out as far as we can to make sure the money is in place, and that way you can go out and get other guys. You know what your situation will be with running back as soon as we get Dak signed, if they choose to do that.
Yeah, and when it comes to salary cap management, what a lot of people are failing to understand is getting Dak's deal done will immediately, depending on how it's structured, but it will immediately free up tens of millions of dollars towards this year's salary cap. And then, of course, some of that is able to roll over to next year. So depending on how this year goes or doesn't go, you're probably really going to need to go, quote unquote, all in free agency next year. You're going to need that cap space. But what you don't want to do is send yourself back to, the post-Troy Aikman years,
yes,
right? And as Big Nate can speak on it, for those that didn't live that was not a fun situation, right? You're talking about the McGees of the world and the Quincy Carters of the world, and as much as I love my Bulldog, sorry Quincy, but you hurt my feelings here. So if you don't want to go back to the post-Troy Aikman days, and you got gifted Tony Romo. So regardless of how people feel about Tony Romo, fact was Tony Romo fell in the Cowboys' lap as an undrafted guy who ended up playing and wildly outplaying his undrafted status, to the point where he was being looked upon and criticized like he was a first overall pick, right? And then you fall backwards into another franchise quarterback in Dak Prescott, a compensatory fourth-round pick right at the back end of Tony Romo's career when his body started kind of falling apart.
And you're not having to move up for those picks.
Right, so that type of luck is not going to continue to happen. You have your franchise quarterback, pay him. He was a runner-up for league MVP last year. He's an all-pro from last year, led the number one offense again. That's the kind of guy you lock up.
What about question marks surrounding Dak, though? We saw the collapse of the overall team, and I'm not going to put that on Dak, of course, but getting to the next step, getting to the next level, getting to an NFC championship. I think that's kind of the lingering question mark for the entire season. Can we get there? No matter what we do for the rest of the season, it is in that moment. Do you trust Dak Prescott in an NFC championship game?
You know, we were all emotional after that game. We saw
Of course.
Dak was not up to par with what he showed us during the regular season. Our defense was out of kilter once again in the biggest moments. So it was a team effort. But what hurts is your quarterback cannot be a part of that failure, and he was a part of that loss. So we have to factor that in. But once you get the emotions out of it and you start saying, okay, where does Dak rank in the league? And he's still, people talking about the top 10. No, sir. He's probably about a top 7, top 6. Because when you go to talking about wins, Patrick, see, what was his wins?
Just go ahead and say top
2 or 3
5.
years? Yeah.
So, I mean 12 and 12.
Yeah. So
36 wins.
You can't say all of a sudden, hey, Mike McCarthy was the reason that was changed, because you got to understand his offensive coordinator changed.
Again.
Yeah. So Dak has made some super adjustments as a quarterback. It took him a minute to connect up with CeeDee, but once he did what he had to do. And so even I was emotional, like, man, do we pay Dak? Do we keep Dak? You know what? Ask Minnesota how they feel. They had to go out and get a first-round pick to even soothe the pains. And even though you may go to Atlanta and think you got it going on, they still had to get a first-round pick. So you better check yourself and ask yourself,
Put some respect on his name.
Who is that?
Ask the Chicago Bears if it's easy to find a franchise quarterback, even atop the first round. Ask them if that's the case, because their last one, prior to this year, is now playing with the Pittsburgh Steelers and trying to fight against Russell Wilson for some reps. So keep that in mind as well. But when you talk about Dak Prescott, you have to talk about the good and the bad. So
yes, you do.
100% justified. When it comes to me, it's all science. It's no feelings. Let's talk right down the middle. So for as much as I believe the Cowboys need to lock up Dak Prescott for another several years, for all the reasons I said, it's also justified to question if he can get things pushed in the postseason. But when you go back and you look at the film against Green Bay, it wasn't Dak Prescott. It was Dak Prescott's slow start that didn't help the case.
Yes,
it didn't help because
sir.
he didn't save the day on an evening where his defense was basically giving away the game. Okay? When you allow a visiting team to come into your home field and score every single play or every single series of downs, right? At a certain point now, you're down 7, you're down 14, you're down 21. You need your MVP caliber quarterback to step up and say, hey, okay, let me answer with this touchdown, let me answer with that. That's where the Cowboys offense went wrong. But Big Nate brought up a great point. Dak Prescott has now had Scott Linehan, Kellen Moore, and now Mike McCarthy through several offensive coordinators, which includes Brian Schottenheimer as well. He's mostly performed at an exceptionally high level. That makes you wonder what pieces around him have probably failed the equation. So we know it's not wide receiver 1 because pay that dude.
Right.
Pay that dude yesterday, okay? But then you have to look at the accessorial pieces, right? So Dalton Schultz was capable, but was he a Jason Witten? Maybe not. Flip to the defensive side of the ball. We know that the experiment with Marquise Bell going to linebacker, you ended up paying for that in the end. Some of Dan Quinn's decisions, some of his coverage
as good as
decisions,
he played.
Yeah, some of his coverage decisions against the Packers. You were sitting there scratching your head like, we can't do that. That's Pop Warner type stuff. And love DQ. Hope he loses a lot up there in Washington. But nonetheless, it's things like that where you have to look at the totality of it. So rightful to ask the question, can Dak Prescott get you where you need to get in the postseason? I believe he can, and I believe that he will. But everything has to come together perfectly for this Cowboys team to make that happen.
All right, we're going to head to our very first break of the season. We're going to get serious after this break. I have a question for you. After this, is there a sense of tension in the air with Mike McCarthy on the last year of his contract? More Talkin Cowboys after this break.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure. It's not complicated.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
Are you ready to take coffee off your grocery list forever? Black Rifle Coffee Club is here to help. As a coffee club member, you'll get your favorite coffees roasted, packaged, and shipped to your door free of charge on your preferred schedule. Set it, forget it, and never run low on coffee again. Members also get exclusive deals on coffee, products, and discounts from partner brands. Ease your mind and let Black Rifle worry about your coffee supply. Go to blackriflecoffee.com to join the coffee club today.
Cowboys fans, after that move, we've just coined the term Rowdy Replay. Let's roll back the tape.
Okay, there's our mascot Rowdy cheering on the boys, and now he's on his phone, on his Bank of America mobile banking app?
Staying on top of his finances with his virtual financial assistant, Erica.
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive. Cowboys fans just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can't-stop-banking.
Erica is only available in the English language. You must download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. Member FDIC.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag and Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag and Turf, the official Ag and Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back. This portion of Talkin Cowboys, there's a nice plane in the air above us. This is great for audio. This portion of Talkin Cowboys is brought to you by Quaker Oats, the official oatmeal sponsor of the Dallas Cowboys. Quaker Oats, bring out the good.
I like that.
You like that, Reed?
You had the right attonation.
Bring out the good.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice.
For my oats this morning.
Nice.
Nate, did you have oats this morning?
No, man, but I'm gonna have them tomorrow, man. I like some oatmeal.
Nate,
love it.
Newton destroys oatmeal.
Yes, sir.
He has this weird thing about collard greens, though, but that's another story.
It depends on who cooks.
Yeah,
don't you guys mean kale?
Yeah.
What? Did you just? No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
All right, boys. I asked a serious question. It's time to get serious.
Let's go.
Is there a sense of tension in the air with Mike McCarthy on the last year of his contract?
Give it to him, Big Nate.
No. I mean, is that tension coming from us as fans, or is that tension coming from Coach McCarthy? Because Coach McCarthy is doing things as normal. He's doing what he has to do. He hasn't missed a beat. He's been a winning coach. Besides that pandemic year, this man has improved. When you come to a team, Patrik, it's what you want to do. If you leave it, you want to leave it better than you when you came in. Or another way is to make it better when you come in. This guy's made this team better. Him and Will McClay as a team. I don't see why people are panicking. He knows he's been in every situation that you can bring up, good, bad, or indifference. This guy, barring a monumental collapse of 2 in this and 3 in that, this guy's our coach. That's just my feeling.
I don't feel like there's any pressure whatsoever as far as from the aspect of if the question is McCarthy feeling any type of way about not having a contract secured beyond 2024? I don't believe that McCarthy feels that he's focusing on that. He is quite literally being where his feet are. And he's going through the routine that he normally goes through. He's making tweaks. He's, made changes to the coaching regime. And obviously with the absence or with the departure of Dan Quinn, what do? You bring in a proven Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator in Mike Zimmer, return him to the fold, right? And then you promote Al Harris, which absolutely Al Harris deserved. So there are changes made in the coaching staff that hopefully are to improve it. He recognized that some things were not working in his offense. He talked about it in the season press conference when he admitted running game was below par. Right? Would we have liked to see the Cowboys address that in the draft? Yes, I'm on record as saying that. They didn't, but what they did do is they reunited with Ezekiel Elliott to make sure they get those dirty yards taken care of, the goal line yards and stuff like that they missed last year. And then you go and you bolster the defensive side of the ball with the linebackers, right? You bring in Eric Kendricks, and you get Maris Leofau in the 3rd round. You get Willie Harvey Jr., the leading tackler out of the UFL. So McCarthy learns from his mistakes, which is why Mike Nolan is no longer employed here, okay? And then he gives you, 12-win season, and oh, by the way, a third 12-win season. You want to see more in the playoffs? That's what McCarthy is focused on right now. But for those that are saying throw away the baby with the bathwater and get rid of what already one of the winningest coaches in Cowboys history, too soon to be talking about that, in my opinion.
I agree it's too soon, and I think going back to that Green Bay loss, when we're sitting in the press box and we're actually listening to Dak's press conference, the one person that was absolutely defending Mike McCarthy at every step was Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
To me, their final season under contract, or this year, they're kind of tied at the hip at this point, and I think they're riding for each other in this moment. I think Dak is going to ride with Mike McCarthy. Like you said, though, you brought up a great point of running game and how that's going to change going forward. Brought back Ezekiel Elliott. I think the expectations are not of rookie year Ezekiel Elliott. I don't know how you could expect that. But watching him on the Patriots last year, you saw a bulldozer. He was the bell cow in a lot of ways for the Patriots and was getting those dirty yards, which we desperately needed last year. Cough. Thinking back to Miami, we needed those dirty yards, and we needed ball security as well.
Game if you get that touchdown.
100%. So how are we feeling about Zeke? Is he a bell cow or a Band-Aid?
I mean, you want to jump on his first pad? Or
no disrespect to Ezekiel Elliott, but I think he knows that he's a Band-Aid in the aspect of you're not getting bell cow Zeke. You're not getting the former NFL rushing champ. That's not what you're getting. What you're getting is a guy who is still at 29, at only 29, he's still extremely capable of making plays for you. And the style of play that he operates within is what you sorely missed when you released him not long ago, right? You let him go because you believe that Tony Pollard and Rico Dowdle could, give you that sledgehammer versus sword dynamic, right? But what you ended up with was two swords. Okay, there was no sledgehammer. Now, a lot of that goes to the offensive line. You had a lot of injuries. There was a carousel there. Chemistry couldn't really be established. And what doesn't get talked about a lot, and I know Big Nate can attest to this, is not only chemistry across the front five, but chemistry from running back to knowing the tendencies of each blocker to run behind and what he's going to do. So that was disjointed. They bring in Ezekiel Elliott. I think you're looking at maybe 10 to 12 touches per game. I said touches, not handoffs per se. 10 to 12 touches. He splits duties with Rico Dowdle, and then they try to figure out the real question is what happens with Deuce Vaughn and Hunter Lipke and Royce Freeman and any one of the other 6 running backs that they have on this depth chart.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. This is my deal, and this is where Coach McCarthy plays a big role. Go back to his Green Bay days. I mean, he always had a nice running back, never nothing super or over the top. He's back in that situation again, and this is where his experience will let us know where Zeke may. This game he may touch it 9 times. This game he may touch it 15. As the season goes on, he may have a game where he touch it 20 times. He knows how to play these guys. He knows who Rico Dowdle is. The question is, me and you talked about it at the dinner table last night. It's the 19 other running backs that we don't know, and that Coach McCarthy got to figure out how he's going to use these guys. He will not make the same mistake twice, Coach McCarthy. But and I'm going to say this because it's a little bit out of line and not what we're talking about, but this is where Dak has to be a little bit better too. Making sure at all costs that you're in the right play for your personnel that's in the game at that time.
Agreed.
So I know Nate's not going to want to chime in on this, but we have a new look offensive line. And looking at this new offensive line, you addressed it heavily in the draft, which you absolutely needed to do. I want to know, is this the offensive line we're looking at? Are we going to have any question marks going into week 1 based on this camp alone?
Yes. And I told you guys, we were all talking at the dinner table. We're a new group of guys together, so we prepping at the dinner table last night. And I'm telling guys, until I see guys play 2 or 3 regular season games, it's going to be questions. Now, you will get Parsons, and you will get our other pass rush. I can't think of my guy's name, been in the league forever. You'll get guys that will give these guys great pass rush looks. They'll get a lot of that doing the deal. But the run game, that's something you have to work on. And a lot of coaches don't really work that, all practice long. It's just different sessions. So you have to get in a game and watch these guys during the regular season before you can give a true opinion of who Guyton is, who BB is. Because if BB is not starting at center, I'm gonna be a little hurt. I'm gonna be a lot hurt.
A little hurt.
And so I want the rookies to be in there offensive line-wise. I want every young guy that has an opportunity to be able to play, to get every rep. If Zach Martin practiced once a week, I would not be hurt. But the other guys, I need to see them. If Tyler Smith don't practice but twice a week, I will not be hurt. But from Austin Richards to TJ Bass to Guyton to BB to anybody that has a chance to make this team, I want to see them in there doing everything they can, doing from this day forth all the way through preseason.
100%. Bottom line is that anyone who tells you, regardless, let's say Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe steal the show at camp,
right?
Okay, which would mean more than likely they're going to be your starters.
That's
and
right.
Now you know you're starting 5. Even if that's true, and we hope it's true, even if that's true, there's no way that you can look someone straight in the eye and tell them that 2 rookie starters on your offensive line, the most important unit on the entire football field, doesn't bear questions going into week 1, which would be their NFL debut. Fact is, you have a lot of youth.
Who they playing?
Cleveland.
Myles Garrett.
And this ain't your granddaddy Cleveland Browns.
Right.
Okay, this is your Myles Garrett Cleveland Browns, and that defensive line is one of the best in the league. They're going to be tested early. But when you talk about, Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, now let's go to some of the other young guys who aren't rookies. Brock Hoffman, TJ Bass, right? These are guys, even though Brock Hoffman, he's a lunch pail guy, he will absolutely compete for starter. TJ Bass, he's a gamer, came mostly out of nowhere. Right?
Yes.
Not unlike Terrence Steele, but on the interior of the offensive line when the Cowboys needed them. So much youth beside Zach Martin and Terrence Steele, you have to have question marks because I'm always of the mindset, Big Nate, that it takes 3 to 4 games of the same front 5 playing together for them to really start gelling and knowing each other's tendencies. So there's no way that I'm going into week 1 with all of my belief in Cooper Beebe because I believe he'll be the starter, and I'm also on record as saying I believe Tyler Guyton will earn his start at left tackle against the Cleveland Browns. Even that being the case, I would be completely disingenuous to sit here and say, knowing that or believing that, I still feel like, I'll be completely confident. No question, they're all set. No, I need to see it. I need to see it in real time against real competition. And when I say real competition, I mean outside of training camp because this defensive line is going to test them as well, right? DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons. Don't forget about guys like Sam Williams, Osa Odigizua, okay? And then, of course, talk about another rookie, Marshawn Nealon. He's going to make some waves as well. So I want to see it like Big Nate, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Ask me that question again as we go into October.
Now, I want to share a quick story with what happened last year at camp. Nate told me this, and it stuck with me, and it rang true last season. He said, you don't really know the identity of your own team until Thanksgiving. Now, it rang true. I mean, the beginning of the season was what it was. You get after the Chargers.
He kind of knows what he's talking about.
He kind of knows what he's talking about.
Bit.
After the Chargers, you kind of saw
That's
the offense gel. You saw them come together, and you did know who the team was by Thanksgiving. My issue here is that the schedule is so front-loaded. We have so many difficult, capital D, difficult teams to play in the front half of this schedule that I don't think we have until Thanksgiving to get this offensive line gelling. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see how training camp goes, and we'll see how these guys look. And I would love to see a solidified offensive line, of course, injury notwithstanding. But we'll see. So we're going to take another break. After this, as we sit here, I'm going to go question marks again. What is the biggest question mark here at Cowboys Training Camp as we go into day 1? More Talkin Cowboys after this.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See /5G for you for details.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Welcome back into Dear Doctor, the show where I answer life's questions with an ice-cold can of Dr. Pepper. Sheila, let's hear from our next caller, would you?
Dear Doctor, my friend supported me during a tough time, but what's the right gift that says, thanks for being a shoulder to cry on?
Okay, this one's easy. I say give her a delicious Dr. Pepper. Nothing says, thanks, girl, better than a one-of-a-kind soda. Yes, any Dr. Pepper flavor will do. Now, just a reminder that I don't need to be a real doctor to know that Dr. Pepper is the one you deserve.
If you're looking for fresh American roasted coffee that gives back, you need to head to your local grocery store and pick up a bag of Black Rifle coffee. That's right, America's coffee is now available in the coffee aisle of a grocery store near you. Black Rifle Coffee Company is veteran-founded with a mission to give back to those brave men and women who have served our nation. Every bag, box, or can you purchase helps support that mission. Head to your local grocery store and roast yourself some Black Rifle coffee today.
Back to Talkin Cowboys.
Welcome back to Talkin Cowboys live. Well, not live, but live from training camp here in Oxnard, California. This segment is brought to you by Invisalign, the official smile of the Dallas Cowboys. Pearly whites, I like it. We have, Patrik, can you stop reading?
You know, normally I'd say yes, but when it's the Cowboys Training Camp magazine for 2024, it's a read that you can't put down. Okay, so make sure you get this, either the digital version by downloading the Star Magazine app, or you can find it in some stores. But make sure you get it, and of course there is the Training Camp opening version of my Science Lab series, which is in here as well. So make sure you get it and get yourself ready for what's about to go down. Get yourself ready.
DallasCowboys.com. Get you Star Magazine.
Yeah.
Training camp review. Thank you to Kurt for putting that together.
Oh, Kurt Daniels, phenomenal.
Shouts to my man Kurt.
All-star.
On Talking Cowboys with the host Sharon. All right, so I like this. Also on Dallas Cowboys, we have an article series called Mailbag, and I love these. I love whenever fans send in their questions for the writers to address.
Always fun.
Always fun. I liked this one a lot. This one was from Benny Reynolds in Houston. Shouts to you, my friend.
What's up, Benny?
And this is basically the whole topic of the entire show. I loved this question. But what is the biggest question mark here at training camp?
What you thinking, Big Nate?
Mozzie Smith.
I like that.
Along with his second pick brother.
I like that.
The tight end. Those are the biggest. Those are the biggest answers, man. The biggest questions. Excuse me. I mean, you maybe Patrick C can answer it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I'm drawing a circle around defensive tackle as a whole unit, right? And obviously that's led by a question mark on what version of Mozzie Smith are we about to see effective today? Are we about to see the Michigan version of Mozzie Smith, the definitive nose tackle who eats up double teams, or are we about to see the Dan Quinn's version in 2023 where he tried the conversion to a 3-tech? That being said, Cowboys did not bring in, not as of yet, a big-name free agent for defensive tackle, so they're leaning heavily on Mozzie Smith and rookie 7th-round pick Justin Rogers, along with veteran Carl Davis. You already know what you're going to get from Osa Odigizua. That's not a question mark at all. He is an absolute baller. But Chauncey Golston, he's going into a contract year. Will he break out this season? They need him to. So for me, the single biggest question mark is how does this defensive tackle position play out for Mike Zimmer, who, along with his linebackers, he depends largely on what his defensive tackles can do in trying to stop the run.
Mine is, a lot of weight gets put into this question, but is the team still bought in? Now, bought in is a relative phrase. You hear it a lot.
Listen, everybody wants to read this. You know, it's flipping pages.
They're here looking at the science lab in Star Magazine. Look at that.
From an airplane.
But is the team's bought in? Now, they gelled so well during the regular season, especially after that Chargers Monday Night Football game. Do we see them step right back into that rhythm offensively Or is there some PTSD from the Green Bay wild card debacle? That's I kind of want to. Like I said, I even brought the question up earlier. Is there like a tense air? Is there? I don't know, man. I don't feel as optimistic as I did last year, and I'm sure a lot of fans are feeling the same way. But football's here. You can't not be excited about it. But it's just that lingering question in the background for me is, are we bought in?
I'll say this, and I'll toss it to Big Nate. As far as the offense is concerned, CeeDee Lamb's absence notwithstanding, I think this offense not only steps right back into what they were doing last season, I think they have a great opportunity to take the step forward. We'll see how the running back situation shakes out. But I talked to Dak Prescott and Brandon Cook specifically about one particular thing. I asked them both, I said, what's the difference between right now and a year ago in Mike McCarthy's offense in Dallas, the Texas Coast offense, if you will? And they both said the same thing. Last year was a whole lot of heavy installs, and that's why they got off to the slow start to the season, a little bit disjointed. Slow start for Brandon Cook, slow start with CeeDee Lamb, slow start with Jake Ferguson. All of a sudden, as the season went on, Jake Ferguson's played at a Pro Bowl level. Brandon Cook started to get involved, and we saw what CeeDee Lamb was able to do. All of that in the passing game without a running game to really speak of. So I believe that from a passing offense standpoint, they're just going to pick up and go to the next level because they're comfortable now. Less install, more just playing football and knowing the playbook. It's the running game that needs to take the step forward.
I agree 100%. Ain't much more to add on that. I don't see no tension. I don't feel no tension. We'll see. You know, we got a press conference coming up here pretty soon. We'll see what
in an hour
at 10:30. Tune in, DallasCowboys.com.
There's Nick Harris. I thought he was sick. But anyway, I'm feeling
sick of losing in the playoffs.
So, same here, man. Same here. So, Nate, I'm sorry, Nate. Were you finished with your point?
I'm through, my friend. Ain't much I had to add on to what Patrik had to say.
Right when we got here, was that 2 days ago? Immediately after we got off the bus, Jordan Lewis spoke to the media. Patrik, I was sitting next to him, and he shoved me out of the way to get to the press conference. It was very rude of him, and he hasn't apologized yet. But
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I'm trying to be good at my
job. On a public
Josh.
platform,
I'm
you see.
Sorry, I'm trying
he's
to be
only
good
apologizing
at my job.
because he's on a public platform. But anyways, he spoke to the media on playing for Coach Mike Zimmer, installing a new defense, new scheme. Is there a possibility that the scheme drastically changes his output this season? And is that why he stayed in Dallas?
Well, he said that's why. He said that's one reason why. The other reason he said is because, quote-unquote, Dallas is home. This is a guy who's approaching year 10 in the league, and he's been with Dallas the entire time. And when you look at the arc of Jordan Lewis, he comes in, and because he doesn't fit the prototype of Chris Richard and Rob Marinelli at the time, he's kind of shelved, and he had to earn his way from the bench, and then he became the only ball hawk on the team had in the pre-Trevon Diggs years. He gets back to form last year after suffering almost a career-threatening injury. And then he starts being the one that forces fumbles against guys like Christian McCaffrey at the 1-yard line and things like that. So Jordan Lewis is back to form. I'm curious to see specifically what he meant when he said that Zimmer's scheme will allow him to be more impactful, because at this point in the NFL, nickel is base.
Yes.
Right? So it doesn't matter 3-4, 4-3. You're going to vary between the two, but nickel is base. And being that nickel is base, that means Jordan Lewis is going to be on the field quite a bit anyway. So I'm interested to see how Zimmer is going to feature him, because clearly it was a part of the talking points to Jordan Lewis to keep him in Dallas, because he brought it up when we talked to him.
I tell you right here, man, Zim's scheme is not difficult to learn.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing. He's going to give you 1 or 2 points starting out early that he's going to ask you to do. Basically, stop the run, play great situational football, play the percentages that favor you, and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. This freelancing, we see things, I thought I saw this, and I think that's where it hurt DQ last year, is he gave guys too many options. Coach Zim is going to take away a few options, especially early in the year, until you prove to him that you understand what he needs you to do. And once you do that right there, then and only then will he may give you some leverage to do other things. But he's going to play the percentages. He's going to be a great situational coach. And like I said, we all love DQ, but we saw as the season went on, guys were like, I thought I saw this. I thought I saw that. Nah. Do your job, and this thing will click.
The only thing I could think of off the top of my head before we see a single practice, which, first one starts here in a couple hours, if that, is that maybe you might see a little bit more nickel blitz mixed in. And maybe sending Jordan Lewis into the backfield a little bit more often, because he's shown he can impact games when you get him into the backfield as much as he can when he drops in coverage, because he can take the ball away with interceptions as well.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to pivot for the last few minutes of Talking Cowboys, your first Talking Cowboys of the season. Bold predictions for training camp. I'm going to start really quick. This one actually might be conservative. I'm asking you guys the bold prediction, but I'm thinking Trey Lance starts the entire first preseason game, does not take off a single snap.
That's not bold.
I know.
That's not as spicy as you think it is.
I'll let you guys.
That's kale. That's kale is what that is.
I'll let you guys hit capital, or what is it? Command B, bold.
What are you thinking, Big Nate?
You know what? I can't tell you that. To me, the boldest thing is the Trey Lance thing. I mean, we need to know.
We need to know.
We need to know about Trey Lance. So whatever you do is bold, because he came from the 49ers, a very coveted high